Hello and welcome. Today we have a couple of interesting stories, including one about a woman who caught her fiancé on OnlyFans just a few weeks to her wedding and doesn't know what to do. First story. My 25F girlfriend, 23F, has health issues that make me worry about what kind of future we can have together. How do I open/talk about this without making her feel bad about something she has no control over?
My 25F girlfriend, 23F, has chronic and degenerative health issues that have me worried about what kind of future we can have together. We were together for about a year, separated for a year, and have recently gotten back together.
She is brilliant and funny, always pushing me to be more than a homebody and try new things, which I like. I just get lazy when left to my own devices. And we always have fun together, even if we're just grocery shopping or cleaning one of our apartments.
But girlfriend's health condition has made big changes since the first year we were together. Previously, her bones would break easily, and was frequently in some kind of cast and caught things like colds and the flu very often. But now she uses crutches when she leaves home and struggles to go up and down stairs. She is in pain every day just from going about her daily activities.
She is brave and smiling and works so hard despite all this and never complains. I admire her and care for her so much, and I don't mind helping her with doors and carrying things for her. But this much change in just 2 years has me worried about what the future will look like.
What will daily life look like in another 2 years?
What about 10? How much longer will she be able to walk? Will I have to drive her to work every day? Help her out of bed? Will we never get to travel like I've always wanted? Will all of the housework and care for both our pets fall on me? Will she leave me as a widow at 40? 50? I am afraid that I may find myself as my partner's caretaker much sooner than anyone ever imagines. We have talked a lot about the future, but we have never talked about this part of it. I know that these worries are holding me back from committing fully to the future we have talked about, but I have no idea how to open the topic and express these worries without sounding like a jerk or coming off like I'm saying something is wrong/not good enough about her. I already have a hard enough time expressing when small things bother me. I feel like this huge thing is unapproachable. Please, any tips, experience, or advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Top replies. First of all, thank you for being so articulate about your feelings. As a person who has a chronic illness, I understand where both of you are coming from.
I also appreciate a lot how you are trying to consider a future and plan for it.
My question is, do you feel like you want to care for her? In this sense of, would the responsibility just be a burden for you and nothing more, or would you find ways of still enjoy each other's company? Second reply. My husband of 42 years dumped me for his student when I developed osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. It's difficult enough struggling with a medical condition that negatively impacts your ability to engage with life, but that kind of behavior from someone you trusted really knocks how you value yourself. Better to have the difficult conversations early, I think. Better to say you can't do it if you think you can't. Third reply. I have a chronic illness, and it played a big role in ending my engagement in a relationship that was 10 years long. I can tell you, this is probably something that's already on her mind. My advice would be to take some time to really think. Do you see yourself with her in the future? Would you want to marry her if you know she may not be able to work, or may need help often? You need to really think about what you want your future to look like. I think it's worth having a conversation with her. I would simply ask about her condition and how she sees her future, and what she would like to happen versus what she thinks may happen. For instance, maybe she's on a medication that takes a while to work or is close to switching meds, which may change things for her. I wouldn't bring up your relationship in this talk. I would just ask about her condition, and how she feels, let her vent, and find out how progressive it is or what she foresees happening. I just want to really stress that you need to think about yourself and what you want. The worst thing for those of us with an illness is being left high and dry after years with someone. It's okay to not want to be a caretaker. You need to think about do you party and she can't? Do you like to be very active and that's hard for her? And figure out if this will work for you. Second story. My 34F fiance, 33 meters, broke my trust. ONLYFANS. We have been together for 2.5 years, supposed to get married in 8 months. Hi internet. I need the help of strangers because I'm too embarrassed to talk to friends and family about this. In September, I saw an ONLYFANS notification pop up on my fiance's phone while he was sitting next to me. We talked openly about it. I found out he was messaging girls on there and paying them for content daily. Ordered at least one custom video. He showed me a conversation with one woman and it was long and ongoing. I was extremely hurt by this, and after some time we sat down and determined what one another considered cheating. I felt that director ECT sexual communication with another woman felt like cheating, and he was very apologetic and agreed, and said he wouldn't do it anymore.
He canceled his account, and we moved past it despite it causing self-esteem issues for me. I told him Pornhub and things like that were fine, but director ECT contact and paying them directly, and ordering custom videos didn't sit right with me.
This was very clear and understood.
I also agreed to refrain from doing the things he felt were cheating. 5 months later, this morning I opened his laptop which he offered to let me work on wedding planning on, and I accidentally opened Safari instead of Chrome, which I was using before for wedding stuff, not realizing.
I went to history to open a recent tab I was on, and see his history, from his phone.
Full of Pornhub
and ONLYFANS visited every single day. Since October. Starting 1 month after he promised me. Not only that, but some of them have chats in the URL. So I'm suspecting he's talking to girls again and possibly paying for videos, maybe even custom videos. Stings even more because I'm literally taking the day off to go have my first try on with my wedding dress. With my mom and grandma and maid of honor. I'm going to have to act through this pain and urge to call off the wedding all day. I feel the need to address this with him tonight and make a decision on if I can trust him enough to go through with this wedding.
I feel like I would be ignoring major issues if I did. I don't know what I'm specifically asking of you guys. Any thoughts are appreciated.
What would you ask him if it were you? Is it appropriate to ask how much he has paid? He hasn't contributed to the wedding yet, so I feel like paying ex-workers on ONLYFANS should be extra off limits, especially after our agreement.
Can I ask about the chats? Am I being controlling, unreasonable by asking him to refrain from ONLYFANS?
Did he break my trust and cheat on me? Does he need professional help/counseling? What would you do? I don't mean to violate guidelines. I skimmed through them, but I'm shaking and my head is spinning. Side note of maybe some importance. We are trying to drink less, especially during the week, but he has been sneaking whiskey almost every day on his way home from work.
It's extremely obvious.
So just another layer for your information.
Both issues here affect our sex life too.
The top replies. Whenever I see anything corn-related affecting a relationship, I always get so sad that a person can't have enough self-control and consider their partner's feelings.
No one should ever have such a strong attachment to corn that they can't limit their consumption for their partner's sake.
Porn should never negatively impact a couple's sex life. The biggest thing is, you told him how you felt about ONLYFANS and he said he'd stop. And he didn't. So he lied. Who's to say if you tell him again this is unacceptable he won't start doing it again just a short while later? That's the hard part.
You're allowed to set a boundary that you won't date/marry someone who buys corn/uses ONLYFANS, and if he can't be that person, then you're within your right to find someone who can.
I would start by telling him what you saw and ask if he's actually willing to take your feelings seriously, and if not, you may need to consider ending things for your own sanity. Second reply. He has an addiction. A couple of them at least if he's also sneaking alcohol. He won't beat them alone, he is going to need help, probably at the professional level. First step, he needs to admit his addictions. You need to look out for you here. You have discussed and set boundaries around OnlyFans, and he has broken them. What are the consequences? That's something you have to decide. I would suggest at minimum pause the wedding. If you marry knowing these issues exist, you are choosing a life where they continue to exist. You could help him find programs or counseling. When you have seen the work put in, have gotten to a place where you can trust it's okay now, then wait some more and make sure it lasts.
Then you can decide to start planning a wedding again.
But also be prepared to walk away. If nothing is changed, this will be your life, and if that's not what you want, then it's time to move on. The original poster replies, "Thank you so much for taking the time to send this response. I feel like the addiction part is a big consideration before I blow my life up. Your advice is so appreciated and will definitely help me shape the discussion tonight. We haven't even sent out save the dates yet, thankfully, so as of now the wedding is absolutely on pause." Third reply. He is a grown man with a corn addiction problem and a cheating problem. You don't have to put guidelines, he is not a child that needs guidelines. This is who he is. A cheater.
He also spends a lot of money on this. Do you want to have financial problems and debt problems because he is funneling thousands of dollars to sex workers?
He has been spending money daily. So you might go out and buy a coffee every day. Well, he is buying pictures of naked women, asking them for videos, and chatting with them, and paying them on a daily basis.
What type of thoughts do you think he has in his brain every day?
Do you think someone like that can have a productive professional career? Do you think someone like that can have a good relationship with their partner, pay attention to them, and fulfill their needs?
He is not going to change. Even with 10 years of therapy, he's going to be like this and you will never feel secure here.
You already brought it up once and he lied and made you believe it was all over. Don't get lied to again, that is going to be on you. Third story. I, 30F, started a new job 5 weeks ago. My colleagues are lovely, but I'm not particularly interested in being friends with them. I'm happy to just maintain it at a level of healthy, functioning work relationships. Today, via a conversation, a colleague, 25M, linked me to his blog. It came with the condition, "Can you keep secrets?" I really should have seen that for the glaring red flag it is, but went along with it. He told me the name of a specific blog post to check out. In that blog post, he says, "I am going to kill myself," along with a fair amount of other content about being depressed. I checked what I thought was a more recent post to see if he had since gotten himself into therapy, but ended up accidentally linking to an older post in which he relays a conversation with his therapist. Everyone hurts me, and I hate it. How do they hurt you? I try to look out for them, but no one ever looks out for me. Have you ever considered not looking out for them? That would be selfish, I say, and I'm not a selfish person. There's a lot of other content in the 2 blog posts I read. I read a lot around his relationships, romantic and not, with women, and I read a lot around him being a nice guy who doesn't want to hurt others. I've known this guy for 5 weeks. I do not consider us friends. I can't help but feel like this was wildly emotionally manipulative. The flip side of that is, I can't not act on someone telling me they're suicidal. What do I do now? What do I say to him? How do I say it? The top replies. I would probably email him back that, "It's not appropriate to ask you to keep secrets at work. It's not appropriate to send you his blog. That I didn't read it since I glanced and it was about his dating and personal business."
That if he tried to send me stuff like that again, I would have to go to HR, which I didn't want to do. Then I would keep screenshots of everything and go to HR with all of it if he did anything else. I am not a lawyer.
But my general understanding is that telling someone to stop something is a reasonable first step. Sometimes the threat of HR can be more effective than our. It does sound like he has psychological issues. But it is not your responsibility to be his therapist. He is well aware that things like therapy and antidepressants exist. But he would rather manipulate some poor women he barely knows rather than get proper professional help. That is not a problem that you can or should solve.
You just need to protect yourself.
The second reply. While he definitely doesn't want you to do this, I'd basically screenshot the conversation and send it to HR. Separate the content from the boundary pushing, and act on the latter. The former is his problem and possibly HR to reach out and see if he needs help. Is he on your team or close to your work? If not, I'd limit contact, because you probably aren't the only one he's done this to. Third reply. It was definitely inappropriate for him to share this with you.
Either he's emotionally manipulative or he's genuinely trying to reach out for support. Either way, a brand new work colleague is not the right target for this.
Depending on your read of the situation and how competent your HR department is, I'd do one of two things. Tell him directly, I don't feel comfortable reading this and I think it was inappropriate for you to share this with me.
I don't want to discuss our personal lives.
Do you need help connecting with a crisis hotline or mental health resources? I can help you find a number to call, but after that I don't want to discuss this with you anymore. Skip step 1 and just go straight to HR, if you think your HR department is competent enough to handle it. Just forward them the messages he sent you. Tell them you are concerned he might be in crisis but you don't want to engage with him directly, and let them take it from there.